Kia ora koutou, ko Victoria McLennan Tokawangoa, and welcome to an interview with another prospective board member for the ITP National Board. Today I'm joined with a long-term ITP member, although he is very young, Paul, who's had an amazing background and carved himself a fantastic career, and a massive fan of mentoring. We've just been chatting about the power of mentoring. Kia ora, Paul, and welcome.
Kia ora. Again, thanks for the opportunity, ITP New Zealand, for this. I've always been interested in getting involved, I have been involved informally in the technology community in New Zealand. So really wanting to formalize it and be able to help and actually see what I can do to keep growing it.
Yeah, that's absolutely awesome. Well, I've got 4 quick questions for you. And the first one is, what are you proud of?
I guess what I'm proud of is, as we kind of talked about before, a meeting just now, is where I come from. I'm a migrant New Zealander. I came here when I was 7. Really witnessed my parents working hard. Having dad having 3 jobs, mother having a couple of jobs. So I really wanted to have a dream and take all the opportunities I have in New Zealand, right, and take no as just another thing I have to jump over. And so, what I'm proud of, I've always aspired to be an executive leader one day. And at 20, I started implementing a long-term plan, which took me 20 plus years, and my first technology role was manager of operation performance at Telecom, managing network outages, system outages. Pretty daunting for a 21-year-old, Gantt charts, a $2 or $3 million budget to create a NOC environment. And then, look, it wasn't 100% a great experience. It was high stress, but, I was surrounded by different types of mentors. And some of these mentors I won't mention, and some I will, because some of them like to stay, they just like to help, right? But one of the mentors said, hey, get in the business. And so I got into the business. I started, people might think I'm not loyal, but I am. But it was all strategic. I add value quickly, and then I go to the next adventure. So I started going into the business, managing different areas, from TV commercial types of businesses to getting involved in the community, Auckland transport type of work, the council, community development, arts and culture. And then more recently around charity and that. And then that's when I really went back into technology. And I said, look, I fully understand about business enablement now and the power of technology and how it can enable, but it's not the sole thing that actually gets the results. I got to get that people process right, and also understand the business. So I've been into different industries, been able to absorb as much of the business enough to deliver really good value, that they can actually utilize. So in terms of what I'm proud of, I set I guess a plan and an objective that a lot of my friends at the time laughed at, and that you're dreaming. But at 37 years old, that was my first executive role at Heart Foundation. And I continue now at Provident Insurance in my next leadership role there, fully enjoying it and being able to influence from the top of your organization and create the culture that I desired over the years in different organizations I've gone to, which is a really growth, fail but learn environment, and it is a safe space. Nobody ever wakes up in the morning to try to do a bad job, and giving everyone a benefit of that doubt. And so that's what I'm proud of, really achieving that goal. But it's not over for me. As you can see, I've got a day job, but I'm trying to get involved in ITP because there's a lot of work to do, I believe, in helping the tech community in New Zealand.
Cool. We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
But the next thing I wanted to ask you is, what makes you happy?
What makes me happy is true value, really. If you probably talk to people that have worked with me in the past, I don't do tick box exercises. There's a lot of people that I've come across where they deliver something and they deliver it for the tick box, just so they can say deliver it, they get paid. I actually deliver true value. 3 of my last jobs have been shoulder taps, initially. And so I'd like it to keep it that way. Basically, when I say true value, when I implement something, if it's to do with helping people with heart disease and make an impact there, it does that. It doesn't just get switched on and to a point helps heart disease. And similar to Provident Insurance, if it's to do about growing our GWP or our insurance underwriting, then that's what we'll do when we deliver our policy admin system. I don't hide away from accountability. I think it's really important. And so that's what makes me happy. I go home at night sleeping around like this week, without giving any details, I finished on a negotiation on an evening with an overseas phone call that worried a lot of my stakeholders. But the next morning I woke up fresh because I knew I've resolved something my stakeholders really wanted. It's really results. So basically what makes me happy is giving results to whoever I work for.
Cool. I like it. Well, let's get to talking about ITP a bit. So in the written questions, we asked you to share how you think ITP can offer the most value to our community. Expanding on this, what do you see as the single most important thing that we as ITP need to be focusing on today?
So I kind of touched on it earlier around bringing the community together. I've worked hard to bring communities together or tech leaders together as I travel across New Zealand and also Auckland. And the reason is I call it sharing notes, being able to, if it was to do with, building a data warehouse. Some leaders have done it, some leaders haven't. It'll be good for leaders to share some things they should look out for, some of the good vendors they should actually talk to, and deliver something like that actually does deliver the value. Because I kind of think the more I know, no tech projects ever go 100%, but if we can actually get a lot of them at low cost and get the project teams going to another project because they finished it really well, then I think it's going to be good for New Zealand and it'll move our economy really well. So I think that ITP would have a place in that. And I feel that I would know how to bring communities together. I've been involved in bringing tech groups informally together just for my own benefit, getting to know different leaders, getting to know different architects and techies and understand how they think on different areas. And I think if I could formally do that at ITP and have that support, I think it'll be great. So that's one of the roles I believe ITP could focus on. And the other part is actually the untapped market. I had to get my wife a Jeep service the other day in South, and I decided I used my old knowledge of having the libraries close by. So I went to the library there in South. I won't name the library, but there were some students there, Pacific Island students, doing online classes, and there were three of them, and they're mucking around, and there's they're talking to a tech lecturer or listening to a tech lecturer, and I just overheard them saying, "Oh, why are you doing that anyway? You got no future in there." I've never seen any of the bros in that space. And I kind of just I did interject later when it was a good time to do it after their class. But I think that there's a lot of so for me, I remember I went for a student for a day at EDS with a group of people. And this particular, or two people were talking at EDS about how good it is to be in tech. And that, they saw the storm, they said, look, I spent 6 months of the year skiing, one of the guys said, and sold this dream, right? But, for me, I hang around with Pacific Island, but also different cultures and played rugby. That wasn't an industry I was going to get into, but these guys really sold it as it is actually a good place to work, and anyone, regardless of race, sex, or where you're from, can actually work in industry, right? And so I think that ITP could also play in that role, because with the shortage of technology, professionals, we have to build now, not build later. We can't really rely on just bringing in overseas resources. So I would want to get in there and use ITP as a vehicle into getting that, what I call untapped market in that Pacific Maori community.
Nice. I like it. So I guess that leads nicely into my next question, which is, if you had a bottomless bucket of cash, what would you have ITP investing in to benefit either our members or the wider community, or even Aotearoa New Zealand as a whole?
Yeah, so I don't have the the magic pill to solve everything. but I think doing a bit of research as to what are the drivers to bring the untapped market would be a good start. Because I wouldn't want to kind of waste all our funding because it is finite. We have to understand first, seek to understand what are the barriers from them getting into this industry, right? And not just the Maori and Pacifica, the untapped market, women. Is there something that's stopping them from getting into tech industries? I go to a lot of conferences and forums, and they are also, not represented as much as males, right? And so just really digging deep into that first, I think, would be the start, and then establishing some programs from there that are long term. Because I just believe that nothing happens from fluke. We have to actually plan for it long term, and I think 2 years will be enough time to do the research and then establish the phase. What I call the phase one of the plan, and get that visibility. And I reckon we could probably have a few quick win programs in the first year while we're doing the research.
Yeah, well, that's we've probably made a bit of a head start on that, because barriers to entry to the industry is something that there is quite a lot of research underway at the moment. Oh, good. Yeah, so maybe we'll be able to do some quick ones even sooner. So that'd be great.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Well, thank you so much for your time and this opportunity for our members to get to know you a bit more. I've really enjoyed our chat, and I'll say ka kite.
Thank you again, and I look forward to talking soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, cool. See you later.